Alrighty, so in the last assignment, we used the background eraser tool to, I guess, edit like a subject that's really complex, like a person with hair, animals with fur, that kind of thing. Sorry, the window's open. It's gorgeous outside. So, anyways, so if you hear the birds, that's what that's all about. Anyways, so this one I feel is a lot easier and more straightforward than the last tool that we used. Okay, so for this assignment, you have two images, two complex images, right? The lion and this adorable dog. And you are going to take away the background of this really complex subject. So in Photoshop, here's what your end result should look like. But you're starting out with this image right here. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to make a copy of this image in case we do something that we don't necessarily like. We can always go back to our original. Alrighty. So here you have your background layer. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to have moved all the way down to this box with a plus sign in it. Right. So that's creating a duplicate of that layer essentially. It's already locked over here, so we can just take away the visibility and know that we have that in our back pocket in case we make a mistake. Next thing is we are going to make a solid color background. That way it's easier for us to see what we're taking away from the background and what we're leaving. So what we have to do is we need to add another layer right here. Click. I'm going to double click, solid color. You don't have to necessarily name yours. It's just, I think, a little bit easier sometimes. And I'm going to make sure that this layer, again, I'm clicking and holding, is in between. So at the top, I have the image that I would like to edit. In the middle, I'm going to have my solid color. And at the bottom, I have my original image that is locked and the visibility is taken off. All right. So I'm making sure that this layer is highlighted. I'm going to go down over here to this half circle. I'm going to choose the first one, solid color. I'm just going to find a really vibrant color, something that would really stand out from the image itself. Okay. So I'm going to push OK. Now, because we want to go back and we want to edit this image, I need to make sure that I have that highlighted, right? So my top layer. Next thing I want to do is I want to select my subject. There's two ways I can go about this. I can go over here, click and hold, and here's the quick selection tool. In which case I can select my subject. Again, if you go a little too far, you can go up top here to subtract area to kind of refine what you're doing. Another way is right up here. Your computer might be able to run this performance, maybe not, depending on how much room you have on your computer. You just have to see. But here, up here, you'll see select subject. And it's going to take a little bit of time because it's pretty complex. All right. If this doesn't work, it crashes your computer. You will have to go over here to like the manual selection. But honestly, it is a lot easier than what we did before in the last exercise. Okay. So now I have this image is selected. It did a really good job. I'm going to get a little bit closer too so we can kind of see what's going on. Again, I have to have my selection tool highlighted in order to get these settings. So right over here, it says select and mask. I'm going to click that. Again, it might take a second for this to show up because it is, again, it takes up a lot of space on your computer to run, righty? So here are your settings. The first thing you want to be mindful of, and as always with these tools, there's no one size fits all answer. Depending on the size of the image or the complexity, you're going to have to play with it a little bit. but this radius is probably what you're going to use the most. So how many pixels are you going to take away? So for example, if I put it all the way up, I make sure that I have this tool in particular. Again, I can change the size and the hardness and the spacing and so on, but I'll keep this fairly low. I want to keep my hardness fairly low because this is pretty complex. And what I can do is just come in here and just making sure that it looks as natural as possible. Now, after I'm happy with what I have, I'm going to go down here. It's your options for output settings. It's probably going to be closed, but it's towards the bottom of this right hand panel. So we want to click, select this first option, and you can see here already the difference. Again, depending on the look that you want to play with the amount, right? What looks as natural as possible. And then lastly, output 2. There's a drop down menu, select new mask, new layer. And what we want is new layer with layer mask. Okay. And then you're going to push OK. And there you have it. So if you wanted to take this image and you wanted to put it in another image, say, you would probably want to take off your solid color layer, right? And now we know that the background is going to remain transparent because we have that checkered pattern. And you would need to save it as a PNG or export it as a PNG. So what we would do is go up to File, Export, Export As, Format, PNG, Transparency, Export, Save. So for this assignment, what I want is for you to save it as a PNG file. So when I open it up, I can tell that the background is empty or transparent, and it's just the lion, right? Oh, another thing. Let's make sure export as, export, that when we do this, going lion, and then your name. Alrighty. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, there are 2 parts to this assignment, so make sure that you are following and reading all the directions. Alrighty? Okay. Let me know what questions you have.